called a racist, right? But she says, we're from Korean TV. Right?
Oh, I seen it.
We're from Korean TV. I want to get an interview with you. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? I was like, and Brian goes, did Hill Media sort this out? I said, we're massive in Korea, Brian. We're fucking huge. And I said, what's going on? And I said, love, we're just heading into the game here. And she said, oh, no, we just want to get some footage of you guys, saying, hey, Celtic and stuff. So all the Dublin kids gathered around this Asian guy, this Korean guy with a camera. And this girl going like, see you here at the Celtic game, and who's your favourite player? Like, oh, it's Anthony Stokes and Scott Brown. We love the Celtic and all. And I was walking away going, that's the most bizarre thing that could have happened. Like, just, a Korean TV channel appears out of nowhere to interview these kids who their first time at Celtic Park. It was crazy, but fantastic. I can't remember what we were talking about there. But, I mean, like, I gotta say, this weekend is definitely, if we were a tad bit skeptical last week about Celtic Football Club, this week I got to say I'm fully very proud and very fulfilled as a Celtic supporter this week. I mean, I know, Jason, you were having a bit of a sort of a dip in confidence during the week, saying like things weren't good. But for me personally, after this weekend and after the results recently, things are really looking up. Like,
I'm I know I'm peaks and troughs. I think the club could do a lot more for the boardroom level, but there's things in the park. I think they're starting to slowly but surely come together. I feel really bad for Slate and Dial at the start. I was maybe reacting to, some things my mates were saying and stuff like that. But no, I just want to take a wee step back, give the guy some time. He's a young, progressive manager, and by all accounts, the players seem to like him because there's big smiles the size of the Clyde. When they're walking off the park and high fives and stuff like that. I think you can tell a lot, feel like body language that way, and the players are saying, we're still trying to get used to his way of playing. I was a bit concerned about the one up front. I thought it was that was it, and that was it forever. But by playing the two up front on Saturday, I think we could have a partnership there to look forward to. Obviously in Europe, I think Dyla could probably be a right. He could give us a chance in Europe, because he has a continental style, and with his one up front, that's what you need in Europe, and you need someone that can put the ball away.
One of the Dumbarton kids yesterday, when he came over to shake their hands, says, "You know what, Ronnie? I think you're the next Jack Steele." See when you listen to kids speaking, like it's just fantastic. It makes you laugh so much. But I mean, I met the guy, I shook his hand. He was lovely guy. Came out, he was very nice to the kids. I mean, he recognised that they'd come a long way. Joe had been talking to them. Joe gave him a Kano scarf. I think Joe or Brian, I remember giving him a Kano scarf, and he was delighted. He took it with him, So, this is the thing I want. Like, this is the thing you want. This is the thing you expect from Celtic. You expect a cohesive unit, and when I say cohesive unit, I mean like as a club and as fans and as, like the whole package should be one big shining diamond of goodwill. Fans, players, obviously that's an idealistic, viewpoint, but I think that's what we hope for. That's kind of our utopia, and that's what we expect. That's what we want. We want that Celtic ethos to be totally ingrained from the bottom to the top of the club, And at the week yesterday, I felt like that may have been a step in one of the first steps towards, bringing it back to that, and getting back, not even getting back, but just getting to that level whereby we're all happy with the club and the club are happy to have us, are happy to engage with us, And I just hope that that's the kind of road we're on, I really do. And I had a great time. I love going to Celtic Park anyway, so rain doesn't bother me. I mean, my wife and my eldest daughter were a bit like, we're going back inside to play with the Xboxes. But
Fiona's face when I seen her, oh Jesus!
I know.
I see her outside the red stand, but no, brilliant. And then next week we're obviously Grace with the presidency, the other half of the draw had a duo.
Well, he's going to be flying and stuff and taking the easy road. Like, he's not willing to put himself in the into the trenches like me.
So I'm looking forward to seeing Harper at the weekend and get a few beers with him. So it'll be good to catch up. And I think he's got one of the last flights home. So that'll be nice to see the Nickies in heading to Glasgow Airport later at night. But, I think we're going to tie in with Tara and stuff like that after the food bank collection as well.
I think there's a fair chance he could be on your sofa on Saturday night, Jason.
He's more than welcome.
Here, wait till he wakes up on Sunday morning, he'll be like, fuck this.
I know. So what do you think for this week? Thistle, what do you think?
Paul?
Well, it'll be... I saw there wasn't much of a game against St Johnstone there, but I think we should have enough to beat them. I don't think Thistle are all that this season. I think it's a pretty big game, you know what I mean? It's a quarter-final League Cup, and it just tides you over to next season, next year, big burns, stuff like that. So, I am actually looking forward to it. Like, you know what I mean? I think Thistle will bring a good support. I was reminded by a few Thistle fans that it was just after the anniversary that day they gubbed us in the League Cup final 4-1 in the city. So I am looking forward to it, and hopefully we can just continue winning and continue guys scoring goals. See no reason to change the team, break up the partnership, anything like that. So hopefully we'll be through the semi-final by Wednesday night.
I would look at McGregor or Wakasu and bring Mulgrew in as a bit of holding midfielder. Maybe take, Wakasu and let Azagiri bomb up the wing. And just I think if we get three in the middle of the park, it's a lot better. But if we've got the two up front, I'm more than happy to stick with they two, definitely. But I'm looking forward to it as well. I think the Jags will bring a very big support. I watched the highlights of their game against St Johnstone. Bloody hell, they were falling out of each other's feet in that box. If we've not got enough to beat them, I'm back to slagging Ronnie next week, don't worry. I'm looking forward to it myself, mate. And as you say, quarter-finals, that'll be us in the semi-finals. To next year, and the treble's still on. And I'm glad that I'm like you. In Scotland, you would tend to think that we'll win the league, and that's whether people are thinking that's us being big-headed, us being arrogant or whatever. It's a fact of life that we've got players that are earning 10 times the wages of any other team in Scotland at least. So obviously we've got better players. The cup competition should be a priority because the league should take care of itself. Mm-hmm. So, yep. And I think absolutely. It's different if you're in the Champions League and you're looking at potentially qualifying and you're looking at the millions and millions of pounds available there. Then obviously you're going to get a bit of heat for the boardroom if you're sort of prioritising quarter-finals at home against Partick Thistle and you've got a Juventus home tie coming up, in the Champions League. I can understand why the suits will be saying, wait a minute here, we need to try everything we can to get these Champions League points. But we're not in that ball game. Ronnie's doing well in Europe. He's doing well in consideration. We knocked out the Champions League. But he's doing well, and I'm liking that he's putting the emphasis on the cup competitions. Because you can't beat a day out at Hampden. And any Celtic supporter that gets bored with cup finals and days out at Hampden, are you really a Celtic supporter?
Is this the year? Is this the year we meet Sevco? Do you think?
I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. That'll take care of itself. Mm-hmm. If it does, it does. They don't really interest me. If they do, if we do, we do. I'd even forgot they were still in it there, Joe. There you go.
I know that's the thing, but I'm just saying. I only say that because I know there's people out there that are dying to see that happen.
Let's talk about it. The big elephant in the room. Do people think the crowds will fly up if the Tribute Act get into the what do you think, Paul?
I think they will. I think there's an element of support that just lives for that kind of thing, basically. Yeah. And I've argued with people all the time. To me, it's no Rangers that we miss. Them dying or that kind of thing. It's competition is what we miss.
100%.
And wherever that comes to, I think fans react to it. Like let's just say, for example, go through the looking glass and say black is white. Say it was Hearts had just went on this mad rampage again and, had been challenging us. You bet your bottom dollar there'd be 60,000 there against Hearts. Yeah. Fighting for that. So I think that's the thing. And I'm not really sure if Sevco are going to provide that competition, to be quite honest. No. Because, I think what you're going to see very soon is effectively a big sports director, the biggest sports director in the world, and I wouldn't imagine any boycott of Sports Direct would go down well with most of the supporters that I've seen that go to Ibrox, that's for sure, given what they wear. But that's another story. But I mean, it's, if they come, and, we'll face it like we would anybody else. But I'm not sitting here thinking about it or worrying about it or anything like that. And as we've already said, it looks like most of the guys that supported Rangers have started to support Sevco. And for that reason, I want to beat them at every opportunity.
Yeah, and the thing is, you've got to realise the classy player that will be playing with him will be akin to your Cammy Frasers of the day. So they won't be busting any records anytime soon, I can assure you. So, I'm not. It's a thing that we don't speak about them on here because they don't affect us. No. We're a Celtic podcast, and if they were in the same league as us, we would give them their due and maybe mention them for a wee bit, but they don't really interest us at the minute. Once they get promoted, which they surely will, if they keep trading, they surely will, with the wages that they're paying, you would like to think. If they're paying 10 times what their nearest rivals are getting, you would like to think that they would win the league. Whether they do or not, that's up to them. But once they're in direct competition with us, then we'll discuss them. But until then, they don't really bother me that much. They might bother other folk, but if that's your motivational factor to go to watch Celtic, then I don't know. But I'm with you, Paul. We miss competition. And if competition came in the form of Dundee United, came in the form of Aberdeen, came in the form of Hearts, and it was genuine competition. Because let's face it, at the minute, with Hamilton Accies, when they were top of the league, did any of us think for a minute that would be genuine competition for us?
Aye. No. Aye. And I would say anybody who thinks that it was just Rangers dying, we missed that kind of thing and it's no competition. When was the last time you sat at a Celtic game and actually gave two fucks about what any other Premier League result was?
Exactly. It's a great point.
I have, by the way, hands up now. I have been on this show at times, not even knowing what the other results were on the Saturday.
Yeah.
See if I've went for a pint after the game. If I'm in the car on the way home, I've always got Radio Scotland on or whatever, and I'm listening to the scores coming through in the match reports. If I've sometimes come on this show and I've got no idea what the Dundee United score was or the Kilmarnock score for the Saturday, because I've never had the chance to watch sports on the Monday night or the Sunday night.
Aye.
And that just it's quite sad, because I do take an interest in Scottish football. I like to see what other teams are doing, but there has come occasions when I couldn't tell you what other scores were.
Yeah. Speaking of players, which we weren't even doing, that's a shitty segue.
not speaking of players.
That's how good we are at broadcasting. I could have just mentioned anything. Rumblings of Guidetti staying. Now I'm reading these reports, and they're taking what John Guidetti has said. He said he loves being at Celtic. It's great, which he is going to say. And Dyla says he wants to keep him. And it is his last year of a Man City contract, according to the reports, the articles I've been reading. What do you think the chances are of keeping him? I want to keep him. Obviously, we want to keep him.
I really want to keep him as well, and I think it could be one of these. I don't know, I'll let you have your bit, Paul, but I think, Scandinavians, they're a great fit for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because they come to leagues that are worse than ours, or on a par with us, and the Scandinavians kind of are a bit conservative. They don't have delusions of grandeur, and they're just quite methodical. They go on with stuff. He knows what Larsson done with us. And the guys had a great time at Feyenoord, then had illness and whatever. And at Man City, he's been kind of frozen out. So if Celtic can get a package together and agree with the guy, I could definitely see him coming. Because he's a hero with the fans. Well, he's a hero in the making of the fans already.
Well, we're essentially the biggest club he's had since Feyenoord, because he had a virus or an injury after he left Feyenoord. That's why he didn't finish the season there. But we're essentially his next big shot. In terms of what is he? He's only 20 years old, is he?
Yeah.
So he's got time.
No, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that about Scandinavians, just because people know I'm a big fan of Johansson, and I was talking to a Norwegian friend about him, and they said, "What do you like about him?" I said, "I just like the fact he doesn't seem to give a fuck," and he like he would fight a lion. And she says, "Oh, that's what everybody from Northern Norway's like. They've all got that attitude." And I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, we should get some scouts over there then, because if we can get 2 or 3 Mary name, I'd be quite happy. But yeah, I think it's something that we should look at, because certainly most Scandinavians, particularly if they play in Scandinavia, they're affordable. If you look at our